I just really wanted to call this the final book haul so that I could pretend to dance around to the final countdown like I was Job from Arrested Development. Welcome, this is the final book haul of 2020 and it's a big one this month. I will list all of the titles in the description box down below if you would like to go and find out more. Let's get into it. Firstly, this is one of my most anticipated releases for next year. It's coming out in the UK in February. This is Bestiary by K Ming Chang. I mean, she has been blurbed by Dana Smith, Kelly Link and Charlene Teo, which is pretty awesome. And I know that she watches these videos too, because she dropped me a message saying that this book also has representation of disfigurement. The themes in this book just sound like a very, very me book. So this is 3 generations of Taiwanese American women, and they are haunted by the myth of their homeland. So one evening, mother tells daughter a story about a tiger spirit who lived in a woman's body. I can't help but smile when I read this blurb. It's one of the many stories that daughter absorbs from the women in her family, and soon afterwards daughter wakes up with a tiger tail. And more mysterious events follow. Holes in the backyard spit up letters penned by her estranged grandmother. A visiting aunt arrives with red hands and snakes in her belly. Her brother tests the possibility of flight. This just sounds absolutely incredible. I then bought this book, which I know that Lauren and Jean have read recently and loved. This is a collection of essays called Betraying Big Brother, The Feminist Awakening in China by Leta Fincher. So I think this is looking broadly at feminism in China, but really honing in on the Feminist Five, who were 5 women who were detained on the eve of International Women's Day in 2015 in China, and they were detained for 37 days. So this has interviews with those 5 people, but then also, as I said, the context surrounding that, and I do not know enough about this at all, so I am keen to learn more. I then couldn't help myself and I bought this. This is Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline. I have no idea if I'm going to enjoy this, but there was just something about Ready Player 1. It really captured my imagination and I really did love it. To be honest, I also don't remember a lot from Ready Player 1 and I'm not sure if I should refresh my memory somehow. Whatever. I bought this for me and for Mr. M because he also read Ready Player 1 and loved it. He's not a big reader. When he does read, he tends to read non-fiction, but he really enjoyed Ready Player 1. And I fancied some middle grade for the winter. So I bought this book here, which is called Where the Mountain Meets the Moon by Grace Lynn, which is about a young girl who goes in search of the man in the moon to try and bring fortune to her family. She encounters a dragon who can't fly, a talking fish, and a powerful king, and I just thought that sounded delightful. I also bought this. I will admit, it kind of caught my attention because the cover looks like Harry Potter slightly, but this is The Haunting of Evelyn Jones by Phil Hickes, and this is about a girl called Evelyn Jones, and she discovers this book of ghost stories that used to belong to a girl called Primrose who vanished mysteriously, so she wants to find out more about it. I'm here for creepy middle grade stories, especially when they involve books and become quite meta. This is also one of my most anticipated releases for next year. This is The Art of Falling by Danielle McLaughlin. I adored her short story collection, Dinosaurs on Other Planets. If you haven't read that, please do. It's one of my favourite short story collections of all time. This is about a woman called Nessa. Her marriage is slightly on the rocks. I think her husband has just moved back in after having an affair. They're trying to work things out, and she's been in charge of putting on an exhibition for a sculptor who has passed away and is very beloved in Ireland, and she's very excited to do that. But then a couple of things come out of the woodwork. 2 people she hasn't seen in a long time turn up and threaten both the exhibition and also her marriage. So she's trying to deal with all of those things. Danielle's writing is, as I said, beautiful, and the way that she writes family is what I particularly love about her work. Another most anticipated release for next year. This is Jessie Greengrass's new novel, and it's called The High House. I read Cara Spray's book When the Lights Go Out last month, and this sounds very similar to that. This is a climate crisis novel. It says Francesca is Caro's stepmother and Paulie's mother. A scientist, she can see what is going to happen. The High House was once a holiday home, now looked after by locals, Grandy and Sally. She has turned it into an ark for when the time comes. The mill powers the generator, the orchard is carefully pruned, the greenhouse has all its glass intact. almost a family, but not quite. They plant, store seed, and watch the weather carefully. She is the author of Sight, which was a wonderful exploration of motherhood, this weird hybrid novel, and I love that. So that was shortlisted for the Women's Prize a couple of years ago. I was then sent this by Strangers Press, who I've spoken about before. They're a really cool independent publisher in Norwich. This is their latest series of chapbooks. They have a series of Korean work in translation, one in Japanese in translation. This one is Dutch and it's called Verzet, and they are especially highlighting the work of emerging Dutch writers. Here, sometimes I think even for the first time, they've been translated into English, and we've got an array of voices here. I won't talk about each pamphlet right now, but I will review them as I read them. I know that there are queer love stories in here. I know that there is one about a lumberjack camp for women, and one about a serial killer who enjoys prepping his final meals for his victims, which sounds creepy, and I'm very much here for that. I was sent Icelandic folk tales by the History Press. This is their latest addition to their folklore series. I don't think I really need to say anything more. It kind of does what it says on the tin. If you would like to see a video where I talked you through my fairy tale collection, I'll link that in the description box down below. We're getting lots of anticipated releases here. Here's another one. This is a very, very short one. This is Max Porter's new book, which is coming out in January, the very beginning of January. This is The Death of Francis Bacon. So even though Max normally writes short books, this is short even for him. And it is a series of vignettes exploring the death of Francis Bacon and his final thoughts as he's dying. I love Francis Bacon's artwork. I love Max's writing, so this sounds like a dream. Very excited. I also purchased this in the hope of finding Christmas stories that will scare me. This is Chill Tidings, Dark Tales of the Christmas Season, and it's edited by Tanya Kirk. The gifts are unwrapped, the feast has been consumed, and the fire is well fed, but the ghosts are still hungry, the ghosts are at the door. Can you hear our neighbours? Or was that the ghosts at the door? I'm not sure. Welcome to a new collection of Christmas nightmares. Hello? Ushering in a host of ghostly phantoms and otherworldly intruders bent on ruining, all partaking in the most wonderful time of the year. So that is one hopefully I will read over the Christmas break as well. This book sounds amazing. It's published by Tilted Axis Press. One of my favourite publishers, I mention them quite a bit. This is Strange Beasts of China by Yang Ji, and it's translated from the Chinese by Jeremy Chiang. This is about a cryptozoologist, so someone who studies creatures who haven't been proven to exist. And in the city of Yong'an, an amateur cryptozoologist is commissioned to uncover the stories of its fabled beasts. These creatures live alongside humans in near inconspicuousness, some with ancient forebears, others engineered as artificial breeds. This sounds amazing. This was very kindly sent to me by Comma Press. It's their latest anthology of stories called The New Abject, Tales of Modern Unease. We have lost a part of ourselves, our history, what we once were. That something, when we encounter it again, look it straight in the eyes, disgusts us, makes us wretch. This is the horror of the abject. So it says that this is following on from Comma's award-winning New Uncanny anthology. The New Abject invites leading authors to respond to two parallel theories of the abject. So we've got stories in here by David Constantine, Margaret Drabble, Salim Haddad, Mark Haddon, Adam Marek, Christine Paulson, Lara Williams, lots of different people. I then purchased some graphic novels because they have been making my heart warm in these times that we find ourselves in. So I loved the Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill, which I reviewed in last month's wrap up. So I bought the sequel, which is the Tea Dragon Festival. The Tea Dragon Society is, spoiler, one of my favourite books of the year. It is so cozy, it is so heartwarming, it has great queer rep, great disability rep, plus it has dragons in, and it's inspired by a lot of Japanese things, which I adore. And because I've read all of her books now, and I'm going to be bereft after I finish. I also bought the last one that I didn't own, which is Aquacon Co, which I think is even camper than the others, and I'm very much here for it. It says, when Lana and her father return to their seaside hometown to help clear the debris of a big storm, Lana remembers how much she missed the ocean and the strong, reassuring presence of her aunt. As Lana explores the familiar beach, she discovers something incredible, a colony of Aquicorns, small, magical seahorse-like creatures that live in the coral reef. Lana rescues an injured Aquicorn and cares for it with the help of her aunt, who may know more about these strange creatures than she's willing to admit. Cute. I also bought this, and I actually stumbled across it because I was looking into novels about male witches for my Christmas gift guide, because that was one of the requests. And this is a graphic novel called The Witch Boy by Molly Knox Ostertag, and I think this is the first in a series. It says, even magic has rules. Everyone in Asta's family is born with magic. Boys grow up to be shapeshifters, girls into witches, no exceptions. But Asta can't seem to get the hang of shapeshifting. Instead, he spends his time spying on the witchery lessons the girls are getting. He seems to have a knack for casting spells and wants to know more, but the only person he can share his growing gift with is Charlie, a girl from the non-magical side of town. I think that sounds great, and that is what the art style looks like. I also bought The Prince and the Dressmaker, which is by Jen Wang. This is about a prince who is secretly a drag queen. I don't know if I need to say more than that. His parents are trying to marry him off to a woman, and he's excited to get married too, but nobody knows that he also enjoys wearing dresses at night, and he takes Paris by storm as the fabulous Lady Crystalia. So this sounds fabulous as well, and if you want to know what the art style looks like, it looks like this. I then have 3 books by Tara Books, who I've spoken about before. They're an amazing Indian publisher. I bought 2 of them myself, and one of them I was sent for review. So this is one of the ones I bought myself. It's one of their handbound books, and it's called The Circle of Life. Can we have a moment for this cover? This is about Garuda the Divine, the eagle of the god Vishnu, who is trying to keep death at bay, and it is told with these stunning plates. Oh, that one's the same as the cover. Let me find you a different one. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. The colours in here are amazing. And then I also bought this, which is The Sacred Banana Leaf. This is one of their cheaper books. It is not one of their hand-bound books. This is the retelling of a popular Indonesian trickster tale which features Kancil, the beloved mouse deer. On a bright sunny day, Kancil is trotting around in the forest when he falls into a deep pit. But nothing can keep him down for long, and he soon invents a prophecy to trick a gullible snake, a nervous wild boar, and a hungry tiger into helping him out. And that's what the artwork looks like in there. And the one that they've sent me for review is called The Deep, and this is a series of Indian writers writing about Japan, and it doesn't have loads of writing in. I don't know if hang on, let me move back a bit so that I can show you. So the book looks like this, and you can see the screen printing is absolutely gorgeous, and then it opens like this, so every page lifts, and they're discussing what they're excited to see in Japan, what they found when they went there. And as a lover of both Tara Books and Japan, this excites me very much. So those are all the books that I wanted to talk to you about today. As I said, I'll list the titles in the description box down below. I would love to know if you have read any of these or if they are on your radar. I hope you're having a great week, and I will speak to you very soon. Lots of love. Bye.